Amid evacuations taking place in Belgorod region by the Russian forces, President Vladimir Putin said that Ukraine is trying to improve its negotiating position with Kursk offensive. 11,000 people have been evacuated from the border region. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russian strikes deserve a fair response. More in this report.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has said on Monday that Ukraine was trying to improve negotiating position with Kursk offensive, but it would not succeed. Speaking in a televised meeting with top security officials and regional governors, Putin said that the enemy will receive a worthy response.
It is becoming obvious and clear now why the Kyiv regime had refused our proposals to return to a peaceful settlement plan, as well as the proposals of interested and neutral mediators. It appears that the enemy, with the help of his Western masters, is fulfilling their will, and the West is fighting us with the hands of the Ukrainians. The enemy will certainly receive a worthy response, and all the goals facing us will, without a doubt, be achieved.
Early on Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia had launched nearly 2,000 cross-border strikes from its western Kursk region at Ukraine's Sumy region over the summer, something he said had deserved a fair Ukrainian response.
Only from the beginning of this summer and only from the Kursk region, our Sumy region suffered almost 2,000 strikes. Artillery mortars, drones. We also monitor every missile strike, and each such strike deserves a fair response.
Russia has begun evacuations in another city, which is the Belgorod region, as it eyes rising military activity across the border in Ukraine. Governor of Belgorod region visited border regions after clashes broke out between the Russian and Ukrainian forces in the area. The governor of Belgorod region announced on Monday that he had ordered civilians in one district of the region to head for safety. Russian forces are battling an Ukrainian offensive in the neighboring Kursk region. Russia has imposed a tight security regime in the Kursk, Bryansk and Belgorod regions, while its ally Belarus said it was bolstering its troop numbers as it border after Minsk said Ukraine had violated its airspace with drones. Russian officials say Ukraine's attack on Russia's sovereign territory are aimed at showing its Western supporters that Kiev can still muster major military operations while trying to gain a bargaining chip ahead of possible ceasefire talks. According to the state news agency, 11,000 people have been evacuated from Krasnaya Yaruga district in Russia's Belgorod region. Meanwhile, Russia's air defenses have destroyed 11 drones that Ukraine launched on the intervening night of Sunday and Monday, targeting the border Kursk region. Russian air defense units also destroyed 5 other Ukrainian-launched drones over the Belgorod region, which also borders Ukraine, and 2 over the Voronezh region. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin will hold talks on Tuesday with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who is visiting Russia, as reported by state news agency. Ukraine said on Monday it had not seen any sign of a build-up of Belarusian forces near their border, contradicting a statement from Minsk that it had sent more troops to the area. Belarusian Defense Ministry had released on Sunday video of several tanks being loaded onto a train ready for transportation, following the statements accusing Ukraine of violating its airspace. Bureau Report, DD, India.
And DD India's Dasha Chernyshova now joins us from Moscow. Dasha, with both sides scaling up the rhetoric, allegations, counter-allegations flying thick over the past 1 week, how does that augur for escalation or further escalation of the conflict?
Well, we understand at this moment Moscow has been trying to be quite restrained in its response to this Ukrainian incursion, and it has always been trying to make sure that the Ukrainian advance of the troops is not made any further, any deeper into the country. But what's clear at this moment is that the pressure is mounting among the Russian population, because the acting governor of the Kursk region region. Speaking at the meeting with the Russian president as well as security chiefs, has said that the Ukrainian troops are in control of 28 settlements in Russia, and the fate of 2,000 people, Russian people who were in those settlements, is unknown to the authorities of the Kursk region. So certainly it does seem to be a completely new development. Many military analysts suggest that there is no tactical value for Ukraine, but obviously it is not going to be left unanswered. The Russian president has vowed that the Ukrainian troops will be squeezed out from the Russian territories, from Russia's sovereign territories, but also noted that it was the attempt that has been helped from outside the country with the help of the Western countries.
All right, Dasha, also give us a sense of what is Moscow's assessment of Ukraine trying to use the Kursk offensive as a bargaining chip in ceasefire talks later.
Well, that has been one of the options that the Russian authorities have outlined from the very beginning, speaking about the root causes and the reasons for Ukraine to launch this incursion. Russia insists that Ukraine wanted to improve its bargaining positions, its negotiating positions, should there be negotiations on the ceasefire. But at the same time, the Russian president has said that now it is obvious that it is impossible to negotiate with Kiev, because this incursion has shown that Ukrainian military are firing directly at the civilians in Russia's border regions. So the assessment here is very clear. The negotiations are now very difficult, are very unlikely from the Moscow's perspective. But at the same time, obviously, Russian officials are saying that this incursion is going to be defeated and the Ukrainian troops will not stay long on the Russian soil.
All right, Dasha Chernyshova, many thanks for joining us from Moscow and giving us that update.